All right, Yang Gang. We are here. It's time for Tulsi. We wanted to, we kind of wanted to show you another candidate's, one of their town halls or whatever that they have. And so here we are. We are here at Tulsi Town. Let's see if we can turn this around.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
So I just wanted to make Sorry, my friends. Thank you. Right.
All right, we got 11 people on the live stream. So we are here in Lebanon, New Hampshire, and we are streaming from a Tulsi event. Oh, sorry. Andrew for Andrew. Uh-oh, here we go. Might have to block the speaker so we don't get copyrighted. So we're trying to find a place to set up a tripod. I see some cameras in here. But yeah, we wanted to show you another candidate's perspective. Let me turn this around. Is this the line?
What?
Is this the line?
No, I'm just gonna stand.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
It's a little too full.
Is the signal slow? Because I can cut off the live stream and just film it if I need to. I don't know if they have a Wi-Fi in here. Do you know if they have a Wi-Fi?
I don't know either.
All right, cool. So I'm trying to find. Stream looks good. Okay. So I don't know. Pat she's feeding the homeless. That is awesome. Get them, Paget. Feed as many as you can, for sure. We're here live at Salt Hill Brewery for the Tulsi event. And we wanted to give you another perspective. Other than the Yang Gang, we wanted to get outside of our bubble a little bit and let y'all see kind of what goes on and kind of see the turnout for her, you know? Grassroots Yang Gang family, we love Tulsi. So if y'all like her too, y'all can tune in. If you don't, it's cool too. So I brought the tripod. Good gracious, this dude is everywhere. Y'all notice that dude, the young kid in the hat? Excuse me, bro. He was at the event last night for Andrew Yang. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's close. But I know somebody was at one, or maybe I reckon get a war.
We have one reporter who is covering, I think, both Biden
Try to
and
squeeze over here too. Go ahead. Alright. So I guess from what I understand, yes. Y'all, okay, so I came in and on my way in, I'm trying to set the tripod down, y'all. I don't know. Y'all don't cuss stress me out. There we go. Alright, so I've already been talking to Tulsi people on the way in here. Y'all got to know something in this. This came out of their mouth and I got it on video. Most Tulsi people, for them, Yang is like a very strong up there, a very close second. So, I mean, they already know. So how's the feed coming through in this feed? I was wondering why everybody was staring at the wall. I guess that's where Tulsi's gonna be.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That'd be awesome if she just came up. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it has her name on it.
Oh wow, that would be really cool.
It's gonna be hard getting in through this.
Yeah.
She's probably coming in.
Oh wow. Okay, so I might better move this tripod out of the way just a little bit.
Well, let's see. So it swings that way, so you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Stay right there because if this door opens up, it's gonna be
Right. Let me see if Jess.
She could be in the kitchen.
Jess. Can you set this back there somewhere? Is there a spot for it? Back there? Anywhere?
Yeah, not really.
Not really? No places?
Man, we know this. Sorry.
My bad. I just needed to put it somewhere.
You might, talk to somebody at the bar. We got production equipment and things back here, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My wife and then girlfriend.
It's cool.
To see Aerosmith in Boston. And I had a really expensive.
All right, so
show up at the office.
They couldn't set this little tripod right here back in that corner somewhere yet. Hold on, let me turn this around. So see these news people back here? They wouldn't set this little ass thing right here out of the way in the corner somewhere because they had production equipment back here. Are you kidding me? That's just, look. Y'all, this is how we get treated.
You guys are okay with like stopping?
So aggravating. Aggravating. So anyway, yeah, I'm thinking that Tulsi is actually going to come in this door right behind me. Nah, it's Jess and her people back there. And I asked Jester if she would set it back there somewhere. And there's a whole corner where they can just prop it up into a corner and they wouldn't. So I'm thinking Tulsi might come in right here. This door. Yeah, media people. Yeah, that dude.
Right.
I wasn't asking to like set up the tripod. This is why alternative media is so much better than establishment media, in my opinion. And that's why we keep coming to these events and covering them for y'all. Turn this around. Because it makes sense to me that Tulsi's going to come through this door to get to that stage, as opposed to. But look, look at all that room back there in that corner. They couldn't set it. They couldn't set my tripod back there in that. Oh my god! Because they got production. Well, y'all, this camera right here is my production equipment. That light is just aggravating. I'm gonna try to get over here out of the light. Hey, that matters. This way, if I need to, I can turn it around on Tulsi. And I see somebody out there standing kind of peeping, so we'll see. But anyway, Yang Gang, we just wanted to bring you like another perspective of, another candidate, and she was close, and I saw it, and I was like, man, we need to cover this.
That's why.
And Mama Yang Gang, Little Yang Gang are definitely Yang exhausted. It's been a long weekend. We've been on the go. We put in a lot of miles, and then I just drove 60-something miles to get here. Got 60 miles to go on the way back home. So y'all like, share, subscribe, tweet it out if you want to. You know, I know this isn't our traditional, Andrew Yang event, but I think it's kind of cool. And I thought it would be kind of cool to meet Tulsi and show y'all from this perspective how it is. Look, I'm even wearing pants, y'all. I mean, I dressed up for this. Actually, I'm wearing the same pants I wore yesterday. Yesterday evening. Not really a fan of Tulsi, so that's cool. I mean, you know, I think if you're going to have a partner on the Democrat side as a running mate, though, she's probably a pretty close second candidate as a running mate. To me. If it was a Yang Tulsi or Tulsi Yang ticket, I wouldn't care. Either way, it'd be awesome. I mean, who else is it going to get to run with? I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at the choices out there. Because you know we're all Yang Gang. And we love Andrew Yang. But who is he going to get? I wouldn't want really any of those establishment Democrats. But that's just my opinion. Tulsi isn't everyone's taste, but she's the only one that tells the truth about 9/11. And don't even get me started. For sure. Definitely in on. It is.
I would have come in that door like a little bit ago.
For sure.
Even though it was
I'm hoping.
look at it.
I'm hoping Tulsi.
Why did I go through the line in the front when I could have just like come through here? Just get behind you.
It
really is.
So, trying to stay out of everybody's way for a minute. It was very cold and smelled like skunk everywhere, but it was good. What in the world are we talking about? I'm sure, I don't know if Yang Gang media is already taken anyway. Pretty sure it is.
We can say we're with the president.
So, wait, what's happening? We are here, the mass side of the family is here to say aloha. So that's what we're going to do. We like Tulsi. We think she's a great candidate. She's much better than Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, shall I go on, Tom Steyer, Woodrow Wilson, that guy that just entered the race yesterday, Alexander Hamilton. I don't know. So was this the big thing? No. Lord help. No. I mean, it would be cool, like, if she was just, like, stood up there tonight and she was like, you know what? I'm coming out for the Yang Gang. Maybe I can hang her. Wouldn't that be cool? Fucking Yang Tulsi Gabbard. Now, that would be a feat. That would go down as the Yang of the ages. Are there any non-presidential candidates that Yang could consider for VP? I don't know. I mean, I guess there's maybe some out there, and maybe I think Elon definitely doesn't want the job. So, I don't know. Who are you gonna get? I mean, throw some names out there. Yeah, I saw Nietzsche. She's roaming around. I told her, I said, I saw you on Martha Skeptics on Voices channel. She said she was, look, there she is. Right there. Oh yes, born in South Africa. You want to say hi to the Yang Gang? We're live now. So we definitely just wanted to come and support Tulsi tonight. We were in the area. There's a lot. It's a packed house, y'all.
I'll tell you though, folks,
We got. Thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. So, just pan behind me, y'all. I'll take a look. This place is packed. People love Tulsi up here in New Hampshire now. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It is, it's crazy the amount of Tulsi signs that we see up here. And we've already talked about how we think they should already team up. And and this is talking to Tulsi people. So, Bug Eye is so annoying. Who is that? My Bug Eye? Bug Eye? Yes, she was. Look, you got some Hawaiians on here.
Oh, mahalo brother. Nice to see you guys again. I can't wait to go back to the west side. Which corner is this corner now? That's corner. There's like 5 more people.
So, I think am I? She's busy.
Trying to get as many people as possible. You guys, She's really impressed me. I haven't been excited for that.
What do I think about ranked choice voting? I love ranked choice voting. That's man, y'all. I know that light's annoying, so I'm trying to get it out of the frame. And everywhere I turn, there's another light. I'm trying to stick my head in between. So I guess, look, this is where she's gonna speak, y'all. You can't get no more. This is how we do it, grassroots. All those official media people back there who wouldn't let me stash my tripod back there. I'm gonna have to hold it for y'all. So if y'all can please, we appreciate any kind of donations. My arms are already tired, but we're gonna make it happen. How many people are there? This room is small, okay? But there is a great number of people here. Pack hands, see Tulsi. Russell, please what? I can't see it. Oh. The best side. So that's the best side. A Yang Bennett ticket? Hold on. You're talking about Bennett? The Bennett with the little... That Bennett? That Bennett guy? I mean, I like him. I guess he's alright. They seem to be friends or whatever, but I don't know. That wouldn't electrify me. A Tulsi Yang ticket would electrify me. I think that's exactly what this country needs. It's the big thing, Joe driving out to endorse Yang. No, that's not it. I just wish he would drop out, period. I want Tulsi to shut down Buttigieg. She will, probably. You know, Tulsi likes to shut people down if she can. I got yellow fever. I'm trying to get... Look, y'all. It's the lighting in here. Richard Ojeda? I mean, I would go with that. Ojeda's been... he's been hated on a lot, you know. But I like him. And he knows what's up, and he knows about the bullshit that's going on. So. I mean, I'd take that ticket for sure. Yang Clinton, I would throw the fuck up if Clinton was attached to anything that said Andrew Yang. Sorry, y'all. I can't do that. So, So we're chilling and chatting here. What is? What was? Why are y'all laughing? Y'all laughing at me? I mean, Yang Oprah, Yang Gandhi, Yang Krishna, Yang Jesus. Any one of those tickets I go for. Yang Buddha.
And he was in the water. And he was in the water with his crew. And
So
one
I
of
don't
the crew
know.
members couldn't swim.
I take that.
And he put his
Take
leather, whatever vest or whatever,
Yang,
in his teeth.
Tommy Chong.
Had it in
I
his
think that would be a
teeth
great
and
ticket.
swam both of them to shore.
This is my first Tulsi only event.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I'm like, I'm not sure if this is true. So I'm like, that's a super bet. I could probably take somebody with my teeth from here to the door, and I don't have to strike.
Yang, Tulsi, Bernie, most ends, Trump,
That's
Hillary
like,
Clinton.
like transcending your own.
Something like that.
To save somebody.
Gang ticket. You know what? I would love it if there was like a, I don't know, who would be a good vice president other than Tulsi? I don't know. What lady has a big mouth? Oh.
I love that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tortuga. You know. Yeah.
I was 3 months old. Thank you for your service.
A lot of people here, Yang Yang. And she should be here any minute. And she's going to be standing right there. She's going to be talking. At which point we'll shut up. And no, not AOC. You know what? I like Marianne Williams. She's crazy town banana pants spiritually. You know, I dig that.
And when I listened to her,
she would bring the humanity element to it, but she's just not a strong leader, I don't think. She's more a motivational speaker. She's not a strong leader. And we need a strong leader, and I feel like Tulsi's a strong leader. Crystal Ball, VP. I like Crystal Ball, but I don't know if she's VP material. For sure. Oh, better not be. Crystal Ball. Watch yourself. So, if y'all like Tulsi, tweet it out to some Tulsi folks. Hashtag it Tulsi. And we're gonna watch.
that does like a lot
Did
of
you get up here?
but they were talking about like the Kennedy.
Aloha! Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming. So I'm just gonna run over a few things. Tulsi will be here in 10 minutes. I know you're all excited to meet her, so is she. We're going to have a photo line after she speaks and takes some questions. We ask everyone to come along the side of the room, funnel back out into the restaurant, get a drink, some food. We have quite a lot of people here, so we want to make the Congresswoman's photo line as efficient as possible. And also, I wanted to ask everybody here, how do we greet Tulsi when she comes in? Okay, great. Let's try something else. Let's try Tulsi, 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 Tulsi. I can't hear you. Tulsi, 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 Tulsi. Okay. Okay, so everybody remember that. She's gonna come in. And we see her, we start cheering, she comes up here, and we will start shortly. Thank you all very much. Mahalo.
Thank you. I'm more interested. Now I'm looking up.
Yeah, I'm afraid during this speech I'm gonna forget where I'm at, and I'm gonna be like Amazon, Alaska, oil, technology. So anyway, Yang Gang, if you're just joining us, we wanted to bring y'all something different, and we wanted to bring you Tulsi Gabbard tonight just because we wanted to get an inside look at another campaign and how they do things and kind of like their stump speech, you know, because we hear Andrew's stump speech all the time, and we love it. We love hearing it every time, and I'm sure that there's a lot of Tulsi people who hear the same speech all the time. But that's cool. So we're gonna get a taste of that, you know, here in a minute or here in a few minutes. She said she's gonna be here in 10 minutes. I got us front row seats again. So y'all like, share, subscribe, ding the bell so that you know when we go live. Donate if you can. We appreciate it. I'm sure Mama's probably already got the links in the description or something maybe.
I know, right?
So we'll see what happens. Mama, change that thumbnail. My face is on there. And tell Little Yang Gang I said I love her. And a little bit. Are you serious with how do we greet Tulsi when she gets here? Oh. RD, we do the same thing. We do the same thing. Andrew Yang. No, I won't do that. I'll chant for Tulsi when she comes in. We love Tulsi. Well, we appreciate y'all being here, y'all. We appreciate y'all tweeting it out and getting, you know, just hashtag it Tulsi instead of Andrew Yang. Yang Gang. All that. Please get Tulsi on LiveStream. I am in Tulsi country right now, for sure. Aloha. Beautiful crowd we got here. Man, they've shown up to support Tulsi now. Have I seen any celebrities at the Yang rallies? I sure have. I've seen Voice from Mindful Skeptics podcast. I have seen Fred Felon. I have seen, need me to go on? I've seen Andrew Yang. I've seen Zach Ramen Noodles. I've seen Ital Wu. I've seen all the people who are so beautiful in the Yang Gang, who are making this Christine, Steve Marchand. Y'all, those are the superstars. They're the ones that are, you know, they're putting in the work. Scott Sands, for sure. You know, to me, those are the rock stars because they're trying to change this country. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what all these people are here tonight trying to do. No aloha hats, no, but they got Tulsi shirts on, which is cool. We love Tulsi shirts. Hey, come on, y'all, we know we got the tightest merch. We definitely got the best merch. Signed by Andrew Yang last night. Thank you, Andrew. We love you. No, I'm definitely not a star. I'm like so far on the totem pole, y'all. We gotta get to like Nerds for Yang numbers before we become superstars or anything like that. Because is Tulsi a Russian asset? Get out of here. No, Tulsi's not a Russian asset. This math hat? You ain't getting this math hat. I promise you. That is the early adopter. OG. With the Amazon claw on the back. And it's signed by Andrew Yang. You know, the conservatives, on the conservative side, we like our guns, and we like to say you can cry them from our cold dead fingers. When you see that mad hat, you better take it off my noggin when I'm dead. No, Tulsi is not a Russian asset. It's crazy. If you believe anything that comes out of Hillary Clinton, come on. Whose name?
I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna make Tulsi a Russ asset. We're gonna yang her. We're gonna talk to her and see if we can turn towards Andrew Yang. See if she'll go ahead and Russ the Russian. Actually, I've got German and Irish blood in me. somewhere. And I think I've got as much Native American as Elizabeth Warren. So that's it. I'm a mutt, just like everybody else. We're all mutts. That's what I don't get. It's like, why can't we love each other? Man, we're all just a bunch of mutts. You got caught. I got caught a Russian accent. That's great. Tulsi does support UBI. Tulsi does support UBI. My arms are getting tired. I know that. Tired arms for Yang. I'm trying to prop up. I have a tripod, but there's no way in hell I'm getting this set up now. If I had it set up before, back where all the media people are. Back here. Where they wouldn't even stash my tripod bag. How crazy is that? Tired for Yang. What does Tulsi have to do with Yang 2020? Well, she's running against him. Right now, Tulsi's running against Andrew Yang. So even if you're not a Tulsi fan, you're getting a look behind enemy lines. So like, share, subscribe, donate if you can. Thank you so much, y'all. We appreciate it. We really do. We appreciate all the love. So what we're doing is, trust me, Russell thinks Yang is hotter than Tulsi. Most definitely. Andrew Yang is way hotter than Tulsi. And look. And I see what y'all, look, y'all not getting me in trouble. Y'all not gonna get me in trouble. I am not getting smacked when I get home, period. So, I love your mama, Yang. So I'm trying to keep on the lookout for Tulsi. They said she'd be here in 10 minutes. I got yellow fever.
We need somebody who wants to work on bring the pieces together and not
Spanish flu. I'm gonna yell Amazon at the wrong time. Tulsi's gonna hold up her hand like this, and I'm gonna go Amazon, and then everybody's gonna look at me like I'm strange. So, but I don't know. Anyway, you get to look behind, even if you're for Tulsi as a candidate, you know, you're getting a look at her campaign. If you're not and you're against it, you're getting a look at a rival candidate's campaign. You know, I don't know. I thought it would be cool, so I'm here. And I would sure love for someone to give me a beer, and there's nobody here that's going to give me a beer right now. There's no Yang fans. I mean, I guess they are Yang fans. We will be eventually.
What's great about our country?
But right now they are not buying me a beer. And I can show you. I'm thirsty. My arms are tired.
Steps forward, steps back.
And the news people let me set my tripod back down.
Younger people say, oh, this is the worst time the countries have had. I said, why don't you watch some videos of the 60s?
Okay.
And the riots. And, you know, what
Tulsi's going to be speaking right up here.
that were going on. And the protests.
Oh, you know what though? That surprise, like if it's okay. I know there's been a lot of people wondering about the surprise. Surprise! I have Spanish flu, worse than the year of 1812. It's going to be big cultural endorsement, and it's going to be much needed. So I can't wait. If they actually can get the logistics worked out, it would be big. And then there was the other piece of news that we got last night, and I can't tell you that either. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. It is very much appreciated. It helps us
When I was much younger,
not cover Tulsi events, but we wanted to do this special for y'all. It's just a kind of a, you know.
but it's real life. And I was like, oh, I'm watching whatever, friends, whatever. I'm not watching.
Here we go. Go time. Watch me get loud for Tulsi. All right, y'all. So I think she's about to be coming in. You are so welcome for the coverage. We appreciate y'all like, sharing, and subscribing, donating if you can. Tulsi's about to be on her way in here. And we're going to get loud for it. Because even if you aren't a Tulsi fan, I'm a Tulsi fan.
Excuse me.
Okay. Hey, what was that dude's name that used to fight in the UFC? Not Matt Hughes, but fuck Matt Hughes. Matt Serra. That's who he reminds me of. That dude reminded me of Matt the Terror Serra. No, not BJ Penn. Wow, One Love. That would be so freaking cool. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would love to see Hawaii. That would be spectacular. And look, y'all don't know, that's Mama Look, Mama Yang Yang likes to be warm. She cannot stand the cold, y'all. So
money to different.
she would definitely love that for sure. Let's do it. I will try to convert some while I'm here. And actually,
Figure on her dad.
they don't,
I took a picture of it.
they're actually not far from the tree already, y'all. A lot of Tulsi people like Andrew Yang. And for them, Andrew's a close second. So, hey, it's not a far jump. And please put it in Patrick's chat that we appreciate the work that she's doing over here in the Grassroots Yang Gang.
There's got to be a roads that are not zigzag. He could have come up like from that picture. That's exactly
All right.
it's like from that to July.
Huh?
It's light, right?
Well, yeah.
Man, I'm telling you what now, I'm about to start sweating. It is packed in here. Put the money in our hands. Well, you know, see, but that's where Tulsi and Yang make a good team because she can play the bad cop, good cop, bad cop. Here we go.
Going live.
Hey everyone,
Going live. Going live.
that was a sound check.
Sorry, man. I gotta try to get my cord right. All right, that's that.
You'll see my phone.
I'll let Matt the Terror Sarah through.
You see now one day I'll be running this parade.
Hey, you're not part of the parade.
One day I could take you.
You jump into the parade yourself.
Want you to undo what's my name.
You just jump into the parade yourself.
'Cause I need you to want me to say. 'Cause when you saw me out your window, you said,
That was a weird interaction. Am I getting a selfie after? I don't know, y'all. To be honest with you, it may be. I don't know. What I may have somebody do is just hold the live stream camera angle on us, and then we can take as many pictures as we want out of there. I think that would be way easier. It is definitely a different vibe. And y'all, if y'all are just tuning into the live stream, y'all remember that little kid that had the fedora on last night that was a reporter and his dad was following him around? He's here tonight at this thing. I saw him when I first walked in or whatever. And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, dang, that little kid gets around, little smarmy reporter kid. It made me mad. I'm just kidding. He's great. He's always at these events. He trips me out. If they got 9 toes, we're going for sure. We need all 9 toe people. For sure. Whose channel? That little kid? His channel is Phoenix Rising.
Why not hold it in one place?
Oh yeah, Andrew's music. Who's gonna be Return of the Mac? Come on. We got the best merch. We got the best. I need to get a can of Spam song by Tulsi. She would crack up even though she's vegan. Promise you won't. I am not asking Tulsi to sign a can of Spam. You know what? Andrew Yang signed that right there. I wonder if I could get Tulsi to sign it right there. She's gotta have a Sharpie. If she doesn't have a Sharpie, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad if she doesn't have a Sharpie. And that pretty pantsuit that she has, she needs to have a Sharpie at all times. That would be dope. That would be dope. Makes me look very Beverly Hills. Like Beverly Hills 90210. Like I got a Luke Perry snap-on haircut or something. Is that what you're saying? Saying like a generic version. Thanks. I think. Will you wash your sign hat? Are you crazy? Hell no. You can't mess up them signatures. So tonight we are yanging with Tulsi's fans because we love us some Tulsi, and this hat would be priceless. It'd be priceless to me anyway. Cheers, time. Well, it's all good. I'm like tangling everybody up in my stuff here. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to stay as small as possible. What guy? That guy? We're all just staring. Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. They're gonna copyright me if I start singing. People are already looking at me crazy. I'm glad to see that we got 156 people on here. You know what? That makes me really proud. I'm happy. I wish there were more people on here because I think that we should all take a look behind, enemy territory. And although it's friendly enemy territory, it's still enemy territory because they're still in competition right now. And they're still running against each other. So as long as they are, it's enemy territory. What's going on? Yes, absolutely. Let the air breathe. Ask them if they like beef. I'm sure there are a bunch of beef eaters here.
Others gonna have to kill. With everybody so preoccupied, who's gonna pay?
Andrew Yang. There you go. That was a 10-second dance party. Congratulations, y'all. There you have it. 10-second dance party. Frenemies. That's a great word. We are all frenemies over here. Look, anybody out there that partakes of herb can jam to this song. Hey, we are definitely going to try to yang people for sure. Well, that's probably because most jobs aren't very interesting anyway. No one passed gas. No. You have it. I don't want it. There's a large crowd here, y'all.
I'm seeing the thumbs up.
Going live.
Hi everybody, just want to let you know Tulsi's going to be in just a couple minutes. She's actually here. She's actually going to be coming in a couple minutes, promise. Okay?
Can you give us a countdown, please?
As soon as I know how many seconds it'll be, I will start counting. Alright?
Lights, cameras, action.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Mike.
It's Mike.
Alright, on my signal, you start the countdown.
I will. Well, I'm Air Force. I mean, she's a major, right? Army? Yeah. No, I'm retired Air Force, sorry. But I will, though. I will. Let me know. I'll do it. Absolutely.
Oh, no, I don't know that. I just don't know what she was doing.
Tulsi show's coming off tonight. That's great.
Oh, really? I don't know.
She definitely did, yeah. Yeah, she had to. Well, she didn't have to. She willingly did it. She stopped campaigning so that she could serve. And that's something that we really admire her for. And that's why one of the big reasons that we're here to support her tonight.
Same here. When I heard that she put her own personal momentum that she was gaining and put that in check,
Yeah,
third, I was like, gotta know more.
Definitely. Tulsi's awesome.
Yep.
And we're over here from the Andrew Yang side. And we just came to show her our support tonight. Because we love Tulsi over on the Andrew Yang side. There's a lot of us over there.
Get your name back here or do you teach math?
No, it stands for Make America Think Harder.
I love it.
Yeah, now I feel really embarrassed.
Well, no, you know what? We love math, and that's what Andrew Yang is all about. He's all about doing the math. So, because you can't, the numbers don't lie. You know, that's one thing that you can't argue with.
I love that. I'm gonna get a bath.
Start the countdown.
Let's go, Tulsi! Woo!
Neighbor has 2 or 3 down the sunny line. What does it mean?
Hi everyone, I'm Vince.
We love you, Vince.
I'm about 30 years old. I work a full-time job down in Nashua, and for the past year, any free time I have, I'm one of many volunteers just doing it all as much as they can to get Tulsi into office. And so today we had 3 different teams canvassing in 3 different locations, going door to door. And I have to say, what the most annoying question I get is the whole age thing, right? Oh, you know, at that age, you really think that's enough experience? And I just want to regurgitate Tulsi's huge record of achievements up to now. You know, I mean, before we were debating about global warming, we were calling it at the time, we have a humble 17-year-old starting a nonprofit for water pollution in our community. Oh, thank you.
Work, Tulsi.
Always helping. So, you know, I don't know what you guys were doing at 21, but I was not serving as the youngest woman in the state legislature. And you know, I've taken some turns in my life, and what I realize is how I treat other people reflects how I'm gonna feel. The ability to empathize, and that's what canvassing has taught me. And so when I see Tulsi say things like service above self, I know what she's talking about, and I believe her. You know, to join the Army National Guard, do that for 2 years, become the first woman graduate of the Alabama Graduate School, the first distinguished honor in its whole history. That stuff, she did that at 26 years old. Where were you at 26 years old? Right? So our canvassing model is really modeling what Tulsi did to get into Congress. She went and introduced herself to every single family, every single household, walked all the miles. So when I'm feeling tired after doing this all day, I know, oh, someone else has done it. So, you know, you're really an inspiration in that sense. And the result was Tulsi was elected to Congress with all the endorsements, right? President Obama, she was darling of the Democratic Party. They made her vice chair of the DNC. And what did she do in 2015? Exactly. So when you see a politician in that position, you expect every instinct to just toe the line, right? But no, Tulsi did the integrity move, and that's how she, I think, popped up in a lot of people's radar. So, without further ado, please help me welcome Tulsi Gabbard.
Can we give Vince a round of applause, please? It's the first time he's gotten to the microphone at any one of our campaign events. I still remember the first town hall that we had that Vince came to, and we had a little conversation after the town hall, and I asked him for his help, and he said he would be there for me. And tirelessly, every single day, every single time I show up to New Hampshire, when I'm not here, Vince and our incredible crew of volunteers is out knocking on doors, is putting up signs, getting our message out to voters all across this state. And I just want to express my heartfelt thanks for the work that you are doing. I know it's not for me. It's because of this mission of service that we are gathered together here tonight to support. So thank you, Vince. Thanks to all of our volunteers and supporters and all of you for coming out tonight. Thank you so much. We're gonna have to start getting bigger venues. Thank you. I want to say thanks to the Salt Hill Pub for hosting us here tonight. Thanks to all of you for crowding in. I really appreciate it. Aaron and Sean are the managers here who've given us such a warm welcome. Thanks to their crew for taking care of everybody here. I want to recognize Kelly Monahan, who is your Register of Deeds. Here she is. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I want to recognize Josh Adjutant. Where's Josh? State Rep. He's here somewhere. He's in the back. All right, Josh is here. Thanks for... There he is. He's out. There he is. Now I see you. He's outside. Thank you, Josh. It's good to see you again. Josh actually was there when I filed my nomination papers at your state house. My name will be on the ballot, folks. It's great to be able to spend so much time here in New Hampshire. Over the last few days, we've been holding a lot of smaller house parties, visiting a lot of small rural towns across New Hampshire. Nice to see you again. And it's incredible and inspiring to see how much heart there is in this country and how much people care about our future. This is why we're all gathered here today, because we have concerns about the establishment, the status quo, the government that is of, by, and for the rich and powerful, rather than the government we want, we deserve, and we are striving toward. That government of, by, and for the people. We're concerned about the threats that we have coming externally towards us, but we're concerned about the internal threats that we have in this country that are causing such great harm and suffering for people. We'll get to a bunch of the different issues. I'll try to keep it brief so we can get to questions and answers here. I want to hear what's on your mind. But I want to just start with something that I think is at the heart of the change that we're talking about. You'll hear a lot in this presidential campaign cycle and these primaries from a lot of different candidates about plans, ideas, visions, the way, here's how we're going to solve this, here's how we're going to solve that. And a lot of them might sound pretty good. But the real question is, how do you bridge the divide to actually be able to get those plans enacted into law? Because otherwise, if you're not able to do that, they're words on a piece of paper. When we look at the hyper-partisanship in Washington, we look at how deeply divided our country has become, how, whether it's based on political lines or racial or ethnic or all religious, all of these different things that are unfortunately being used as wedges to drive us apart, to pit one group against the other. We are not the United States of America that we need to be. When we have people looking at others as though they are less than, or they are quote unquote others, not standing on this bedrock of freedom, the principles enshrined in our Constitution, respecting each other as fellow Americans, we will never be able to get out of the place of hardship that we are in today. So I think it's important for us to start on this point of how do we do this? What is required for us to heal these divisive wounds, to bridge these divides so that we can come together as Americans, striving towards that more perfect union, to ensure our government is truly of, by, and for the people. We start with respect. We start with respect. Treating others with respect, whether they are people who come from the same place we do or not, whether they're people who agree with us or not, whether they're people who have the same political letter affiliation next to our name or not. This was a challenge that I had to face at a very practical level when I was first elected to Congress in 2012. Freshman Democrat, just got elected into a Republican majority in the House of Representatives. Had to figure out, how am I going to get things done? How am I going to build the relationships necessary to enact legislation, to get amendments passed to bills, to serve my constituents in Hawaii and to serve our country? I was told by some experienced politicos in Washington that as a Democrat in the minority, as a freshman with no seniority or clout, don't even try to get a bill passed. Don't even try. It'll be a waste of your time. The best you can hope to do as a member of the House of Representatives is give floor speeches and use a platform to be able to make sure your voice is heard. You just have to sit around and wait for a Democratic majority to start doing the real work. I found this to be an unacceptable piece of advice. Said thanks and put it aside very quickly, but started to think, how can I reach out to start to bridge this divide? So I thought of the very first, the most universal language that I know of is food. How many of you speak that language here? Yeah? So my mother makes the most incredible macadamia nut toffee. And I called her, she's back in Hawaii, I'm in Washington, in January of 2013. I asked if she would make 434 boxes of her toffee for every single member of Congress. Yeah. She is incredible. She said, gosh, yes, I think that's a great idea. What a great way to introduce yourself And I said, no, wait, I'm not done yet. I have one more favor to ask. Can you make another 435 bigger boxes of toffee for the staff of every member of Congress? And she paused only for a moment. I could tell she was trying to figure out, how many more pounds of macadamia nuts she'd have to buy and put together to make this work. She said, it'll take a little bit longer, but yes, I think that's a great idea. She got to work in Hawaii. She's stirring 2 pots at the same time, chopping the mac nuts. My dad is the self-appointed quality control officer, so as she's pouring the toffee, he's taking one little piece out of every pan just to make sure it was just right. And while they were doing that, I was in DC. I was just starting to handwrite personal notes to every one of my new colleagues, introducing myself, learning more about them, and signing each one saying, I look forward to serving alongside you. What really was incredible to me was how quickly I got a response. Started delivering these gifts of aloha, and when we had the House votes, we have a few voting sessions every day in Congress, and it's the only time we're all in the same place together. Started to see Republicans making that long walk from the Republican side of the floor to the Democrat side of the floor, literally crossing the aisle that separates the two sides, and finding me and just saying thank you so much. I ate all the toffee and I need more to take home to my family this weekend. And then most importantly saying, tell me what's going on in Hawaii. Tell me what issues your constituents are most concerned about. What are the things that you want to tackle here? You just come to Congress. I'm the chair of this committee or the chair of that subcommittee. I've been working on this issue or that issue. Tell me how we can work together. That simple gesture of reaching out with respect, saying, let us serve together, built the foundation for me to be able to make my mission of service to my constituents in Hawaii and service to our country, to be able to build upon those relationships, to pass legislation. The very first bill I introduced was the Helping Heroes Fly Act, a bill that came about in response to severely wounded warriors and disabled veterans who came and said that as they were trying to travel, they were being extremely disrespected, having to take off a prosthetic limb and hop through the checkpoint on one leg, or having to take off their clothes in public to take off their other prosthetics, not being treated with the honor and respect that they should be. So we introduced this legislation. We passed it through both the House and the Senate in a record period of time, and President Obama signed it into law that first year that I was in office. We were able to pass important amendments related to education, related to small businesses, related to healthcare. We were able to pass these pieces of legislation because of those relationships, so that when my amendment's about to come to the floor, we're trying to pass an amendment to reauthorize the Native Hawaiian Education Act. The Republican leadership and the Heritage Foundation sent out a memo to all the Republicans and said, vote against the Gabbard Amendment. Now, normally, they'd vote against the Gabbard Amendment. But because of the relationships that I had, people were returning my phone calls when I was asking for their support. Or they were texting me or finding me on the House floor or in the gym early in the morning saying, hey, we got this memo, tell me why I should vote for it, even though they're telling me to vote against it. And with that amendment and many others, I was able to successfully make my argument based on the substance of my bill to earn enough support from my Republican colleagues to actually get this legislation passed. This is how we get things done. Check your party affiliation at the door. Put people ahead of partisan politics. Put people ahead of profit.
Preach, Tulsi.
And focus on service.
There you go.
Focus on service. That we stand here together united as fellow Americans, without preconditions, respecting each other for who we are, and recognizing that when we stand united, motivated by this love that we have for our country, this appreciation we have for the freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, and the respect that we have for each other, there's no obstacle that we cannot overcome. Yes, we will have fierce debate. We will have strong dialogue and conversations about our unique ideas on how we seek to solve the great challenges that we face. That's not a bad thing. That's the beauty of what our freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, freedom to protest, that is allowed here in the United States of America. Unfortunately, in this cancel culture that we are living in, we are seeing these freedoms threatened. Or if you say something that's controversial, or you're saying something that someone else finds offensive, it's not saying, well, I'm offended by what you said because of this. Let's talk about it. It's delete your account, it's shut up, and it's go home. This is not how we move forward together. It's not how we address the real issues that we face. So this is at the heart of why I'm running for president, because when I see all of you, when I look out into our country, I see fellow Americans. I don't see deplorables. I don't see us versus them. I see people who I respect dearly, who I hope to have the opportunity to serve as your president and your commander-in-chief.
Let's go, Tulsi!
Thank you. I'm going to close with one note on policy as we open up the conversation here. It's something that many of you have heard me talk about before, and frankly, this is an issue that I have found has brought people together across party lines everywhere we go, and that issue is the cost of war. As we look at challenges that we face in our local communities, infrastructure needs, healthcare, education, protection of our environment, too often we, the people, are told there's just not enough money. There's not enough money to make sure that your kids are getting the tools they need to get a good education. Not enough money to make sure that our teachers are paid what they deserve. Not enough money to make sure we all have clean water to drink. Every American has clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, a safe community to live in. Sorry, just not enough money. I served on the city council. I served at the local level of government. I understand what these budget restrictions mean and how far you have to try to stretch every single dollar. But here's the unfortunate reality, is that those same politicians who tell us, sorry, there's just not enough money to make sure that your needs are met, that your loved ones are taken care of. There is somehow an unlimited amount of money for our country to be the world's police, to go and topple dictators in other countries that we don't like, the ensuing nation building that follows, wars that undermine our national security, strengthen terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. What to speak of the devastating human cost of war, the lives of my brothers and sisters in uniform who were lost, the pain and suffering and destruction caused in the countries where we wage these wars. No more. No more. I'm running for president, bringing the experience that I have of serving now for almost 7 years as a member of Congress, focused on the importance of our national security, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, where we're meeting with leaders from around the world, serving on the Armed Services Committee, where we are providing direct oversight over the Department of Defense, questioning some of our highest military leaders and the Secretary of Defense about the policies and the cost and consequences of the decisions that they're making, and holding them accountable. Serving on the Homeland Security Committee, recognizing some of the domestic threats that we face. Bringing that experience and understanding in foreign policy and national security, combined with the personal experience that I have of serving as a soldier now for over 16 years and deploying twice to the Middle East, that has prepared me to serve you on day one as Commander-in-Chief, to end these wasteful regime change wars. Work to end this new Cold War and nuclear arms race that we are in. Hardly anybody's talking about this, even though nuclear strategists are saying we are closer to the brink of nuclear catastrophe than ever before. This nuclear arms race that's making us less safe and costing us trillions more to build more of these nuclear weapons, pushing us in the wrong direction towards a race that no one can ever win. I will end these wasteful, counterproductive wars and these arms races and take our money, either put it back in our pocket or invest it in serving the needs of our people and communities just like this.
Amazon.
Our foreign policy is directly connected to every other issue that we face, which is why it's so important the choice that every one of you have before you to make sure that we've got a president and commander-in-chief who is qualified, experienced, and understands national security and foreign policy and ready to do that job on day one. That person is me. I hope to have your support. Thank you so much.
Let's go, Tulsi!
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, we'll open it up for some questions. Yes, ma'am.
You said previously that you don't support third trimester abortions. I would like to imagine that you trust a woman and their doctor to make their own choices, but if you're executive, would you support bans on abortion?
The restriction that I support is in the third trimester, unless a woman's life is in danger or there are severe health consequences. What those health consequences are obviously between a woman and her doctor. But this position stands in line with the ruling that was made in Roe v. Wade, respecting and supporting a woman's right to choose, as I do, but also recognizing the viability of the baby in the third trimester, and therefore is why I support those restrictions at that point.
Major.
Thanks for taking my question.
What's your name?
Quinn. So my question for you is, what will you do to make sure that Russia does not interfere in our elections?
The greatest threat to our democracy right now is the fact that we have 14 states in our country that have no paper ballots. They have no record of the votes that are cast through electronic systems. When you look at the vulnerabilities that we have and how increasingly easier and easier it's getting to hack into these systems, it wouldn't take much for a bad actor, whether it be another country or some individual rogue person, to go and hack into these systems, manipulate the numbers of votes that are cast for one candidate or another, and completely change the outcome of the election. I've introduced legislation called the Securing America's Elections Act that makes sure, provides resources to states to either have paper ballots, or if you're using an electronic system, to have a voter verified paper backup of every vote that's cast. So if there are any concerns about manipulation in our elections, manipulating our votes that are cast, that there is a paper trail to go back and audit and make sure that, bottom line, our voices and our votes are counted. If we do not do this, and if we don't do this now, then we are at risk of people losing faith in our democracy as a whole. If we don't have faith that our votes that we go out and cast on election day are counted and heard, then people won't turn out to actually vote at all.
Major. Right here?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh.
I'm a retired Air Force E7 Master Sergeant, and Vincent said that I could do a top 10 countdown. So on a light note, I would like to know why, once I mentioned that I was a retired Air Force, all of a sudden Vincent's like, no. On a light note. You know, hey,
what's
go Navy, go Navy.
Oh, hell no, come on now.
Go Navy.
That's fighting words, buddy.
I'm just saying.
I think that, hasn't the Army been beating the Air Force lately? I'm just saying. All right.
All right, thank you, Major.
Thank you. Yeah, right here. Oh, all right, we'll take you first, we'll get her next.
Do you support the Constitution as written with amendments, or the concept of a living Constitution?
What do you mean by the living Constitution?
Well, a lot of the ultra-left folks seem to want to recast the Constitution to what is a contemporary need. And there is a demarcation in that thinking.
Yeah. I support, I think we have them here today. Every event that we have, we give out pocket-sized copies of the Constitution and Bill of Rights for that reason. We have the Constitution and the amendments and the Bill of Rights for a reason. These founding documents provide us with that guiding path for our government to ensure that our freedoms are not impeded upon. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm wondering what your priorities are personally and also what your priorities are for policy.
That's a big question. You could get really deep with that.
Yeah, a little bit open-ended.
Yeah, right. I experienced from a very young age that I was most happy when I was doing things for other people. You know, for me as a kid growing up in Hawaii, the ocean was my playground. We went hiking, we went surfing, and you know, my friends and I, we'd get together and like clean up the beach on the weekends. Instead of maybe going and playing and doing something else. And even at that young age, I experienced how happy that made me, and made the decision early on in my life that I wanted to dedicate my life to be of service. To be of service to God. I'm a very spiritual person. My relationship with God is very important to me. And what better way to make God happy than to take care of and serve God's children, to take care of and preserve and protect our planet. So at a deeply personal level, that's what motivates me. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm so passionate about this, and that no matter how many attacks may come my way or how many critics there are, I remain a happy warrior fighting for the people and fighting for our planet. Bringing those values of service above self to the White House, leading a government that is focused on putting service above self, I think is the #1 mission and priority that I have. There are so many different issues that are extremely important. We've talked about a couple of them. There are many others. Just in the interest of time to get around to the other people, I think the 2 main points that are necessary for us to make progress in dealing with those issues is putting service above self and getting big money, special interests, and their money out of our politics.
Democracy dollars.
All right, we're going to go to the back here. Yes, sir, with the glasses by the speaker.
One second. Come on.
I want to say thanks to our friend Steve Cook, who is our audio guy here, making it so we can all hear each other tonight. Thank you, Steve. One of our amazing volunteers. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi. So you have an extremely muddy track record on LGBTQ rights, specifically opposing same-sex marriage. I'm a member of the LGBTQ community who will be eligible to vote in the primary election. Why should I consider voting for you knowing you opposed my inclusion in an institution connected to equal dignity? And a specific, I guess more specific question, currently there is a bill, the Equality Act, being considered in Congress. It most will not be supported by President Donald Trump. Would you consider signing the Equality Act into law once it passed through Congress during your presidential candidacy?
Yes, I am a sitting member of Congress, as you may know. I've been there for almost 7 years, and I encourage you to take a look at my record, these issues that you're concerned about in Congress. I'm a member of the Equality Caucus, a co-sponsor of the Equality Act, and voted to support it when it passed the House of Representatives not that long ago. Like a lot of people, even you look back at people like President Obama and Secretary Clinton, they too opposed gay marriage at one point in their lives. I grew and learned and evolved in my own positions on these issues, and my commitment to fight for equality for all Americans, fighting for LGBTQ Americans, ensuring that we are finally going to bring about an end to discrimination, whether it be in the workplace or in school or in other places within our country. This is the goal of the Equality Act, and I believe why it's important for us to pass it. My record is very extensive. It's on my website. I encourage you to take a look. That should answer and dispel any concerns that you may have from long ago. Thank you.
Hi, Tulsi. My name is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi. I'd like to know where you stand on Medicare for all.
Thank you. Healthcare is an issue that is top of mind for most people everywhere we go. Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, because it's one that hits close to home for all of us. I met a woman earlier today at a house party that we had, who talked about two of her children who have rare diseases, and how the medicine that they need to stay alive costs $100 per pill. Per pill. She's very involved with this community of families and people across the country who have children or loved ones dealing with rare diseases. She says 1 in 10,000 people get this disease that 2 of her children have. And she is struggling with this question about how, not only now, but in the future, will they be able to get the medicine that they need. What I'm putting forward is a healthcare plan that I'm calling a single payer plus plan. It takes this concept of Medicare for all that ensures every single American automatically gets the care, the quality health care that they need, taking away the big insurance and big pharma influences that have existed in our healthcare system for too long, while still allowing for those who want to purchase supplementary private insurance, or if they have an employer-sponsored plan that they like, that's fine, they can keep that, but that does not undermine or take away that guarantee of healthcare for everybody, regardless of how little you have in your pocket, regardless of what kind of pre-existing condition or rare disease that you may have. The argument that this is not possible in the United States of America falls flat for me because of a couple of reasons. You know, I've looked at the healthcare systems of different countries around the world, and I think that the models presented by those in Australia and the UK, I think, give us a direction of what's possible. And for the United States to not be able to accomplish something that every other developed country in the world has done is unacceptable to me. This is about people, and it's about our health and our well-being. We can accomplish this. It's tough. It's not going to be easy because we'll be completely changing the model of our healthcare system. But the problem with our healthcare system is that it is, at its core, a profit-driven one, rather than one that's actually focused on the health and well-being of our people. So let's get the big profits for big pharma and big insurance out of it and focus on that. And then number 2, a lot of focus on this presidential primary is focused on the cost, rightly so. So let's look at what's driving up that cost. How about we actually have a healthcare system that promotes health rather than puts Band-Aids and drugs over sickness? It's a sick care system that we have. If we open it up and actually start to look at the root cause of so many of the rising numbers of people with diabetes in this country, and the fact that physicians are not required to get any nutrition training whatsoever when they go through medical school. Let's start with food as medicine. We have better informed people. We increase access to foods that are good for you, that are grown locally or regionally. And we work towards getting rid of the food deserts that we have in this country that so often discriminate against people of color and people living in poverty. Let's get to the root cause of these challenges and problems and come together and seek to solve them, which will actually help people and also bring down the cost of care because people won't need as much of it.
I got it, Chris.
What is your position on one person, one vote and eliminating the delegate system?
Are you talking
Electoral college.
Electoral college? Electoral college. Well, I want to start with the primary, actually, because something that a lot of us got pretty fired up about post-2016 was the need to get rid of superdelegates. We haven't done that yet. We made some progress. Some amazing people ran to be delegates of their local Democratic Party and the National Democratic Party on the Rules Committee. So we got rid of delegates through the first round of voting at a Democratic convention. But in the case of a brokered convention, then superdelegates jump in on the second, third, however many rounds of voting that come in after that, which continues to be a problem in my opinion. Open primaries is something that I think that we need across the country to encourage people to get involved in our election, much like you have here in New Hampshire. On the question of electoral college, I do believe in one person, one vote. My concern about I don't support getting rid of the electoral college, and I'll tell you why. Small states like yours and mine will be completely ignored. You get rid of the Electoral College. What we need to do is reform it, because the way it exists right now is not representing our voices and our votes, because it's a winner-take-all system. You know, if somebody comes and wins New Hampshire with 51% of the vote, they get every single electoral vote. What needs to be done is to change it from winner-take-all to proportional. So that if I win, say 55% of New Hampshire in a general election, I get 55% of those electoral votes. This is the best way that we can make sure that our voices are best represented in these elections. Thank you. I'm going to take one last question. Yes, sir.
Hi, Tulsi. I served in the Marine Corps as a sergeant for 5 years, and Thank you. One of the biggest reasons I joined was for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief.
What was your job in the Marine Corps?
I was an intelligence chief.
Okay.
I just want to know how big of a priority is disaster relief for poorer countries in your administration?
Thank you. This is in the National Guard. You know, this is something that we get to do here at home quite a bit. You know, there have been natural disasters, floods, an active volcano in my home state of Hawaii that our National Guard has stepped up to respond to here at home. But also through the National Guard, I've worked on training exercises you probably participated in with other countries to go through these different humanitarian aid and disaster response scenarios. I think it's important for us to be able to play an active role in bringing what we can to helping people recover in these situations. We've seen outreach coming from other countries. For us, again, we had a tough year last year in Hawaii, who want to come and bring their resources to help us. I think this is exactly a great example of how we in the United States can be a force for good in the world, that we can build stronger relationships and partnerships with people in other countries in a way that's actually helping them and helping to empower them to have stronger communities, stronger infrastructure themselves. We've got a lot of resources, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of tools that we can help provide to people so that they can be more sustainable in their own lives, in their own communities. Thank you very much. Thank you. I know there's a lot more questions. I want to be able to have time to, if any of you want to come up and say hi, or you want to get a picture, or you want to share a couple of quick words, I'd love for the opportunity to do so. I want to, before we start that though, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nitya. She is one of our incredible and fearless leaders, volunteer leaders here on the ground. We have an election coming up here in New Hampshire in less than 100 days. And Nitya is going to share a little bit about what she is doing to help us with that.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Nitya. And first of all, I wanted to share a personal story about how I started becoming a volunteer and helping Tulsi Gabbard. So I'm from Hawaii. She is my congresswoman. And I have never been political ever in my life. Just like Tulsi said, I grew up playing on the beach, you know, running in the forests. I'm a farm girl. And when my dad invited me to come to her announcement for her presidency on January 11th, I was a little bit skeptical. This has nothing to do with me in my community. Why would I have to go do this? But I went and I listened. And everything Tulsi said really shocked me and really made me start to care. She talked about bringing back the values and ideas of our founding fathers in our Constitution. She talked about these wars and how we were spending all this money that could have been used in my local community, instead on these regime change wars in these other countries. So I'm from the west side, it's the poorer side of Oahu. Our schools aren't so great, not many tourists come to our side, our roads have more potholes, and a lot of that money is just not there ever. But it actually exists, and right now it's just being spent endlessly on overseas on these regime change wars. So I really started to care about changing the politics, and I took that first step and I went and told her, I want to volunteer, I want to help. And here I am in New Hampshire. It may be really cold, but the people here are so amazing. It's my first winter. I am excited to continue on this journey through the winter in New Hampshire. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue fighting for these values and these things Tulsi is fighting so hard for. People keep on throwing things at her. She just takes it in stride, and everything she does is such inspiration to me. So I want to invite everyone today to join this movement and become a change maker. Some of you might have seen Tulsi 4, 5, 10 times. Some of you, this is the first time hearing Tulsi and finding out who she is. Maybe a friend invited you. You thought just like me, skeptical. Who is this? I might listen, make my friend happy, make my family happy. And I hope, just like myself, you were all impressed. So we have these cards, and we have volunteers that will be passing them around. They're called Tulsi Can Count on Me. And on the front, we just ask for some simple contact information. And on the back, if you have any ideas of how you would like to help, maybe you want to host a house party, have Tulsi come into your home for a coffee and toffee with Tulsi. She'll bring her signature coffee and toffee. And you can ask some questions, bring your friends, or you can just talk to 2 of your friends. Talk to them about Tulsi. Talk to them about what you heard today and what you think. Or it might be something as simple as maybe putting a sticker on your car. There's so many ways we can work together and help. And I really look forward to hopefully working with many of you coming up. We also have some volunteers asking for yard signs. We need all the help getting Tulsi's name out there because, you know, our campaign, Tulsi does not accept any PAC money. She said earlier that's such an important thing to her. So we need every helping hand, every sign out there. It really, really makes a difference.
Thank you, Major.
And with that, I will give the mic back to Tulsi, and thank you all for listening to my story.
Nitya is just one of our many incredible volunteers. I hope you'll consider joining our movement. There is so much on the line. Nothing changes unless we make that change happen, and I need your help. Please find one of our volunteers here tonight, add your name, join our movement. They're walking around, they'll be waving. Thank you again so much for joining us here this evening. It makes my heart so happy to see all of you. Thank you so much. Aloha, thank you.
One more, Steve. One more.
Uh-oh.
Mike. Check.
Check. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I know a lot of people want to get some pictures with Tulsi. We're going to do a photo line, so it's kind of tight in here. What we're going to try to do is form a line along this right-hand wall. We'll do pictures up here at the front. You can exit on the left-hand side, and then go back to the restaurant, have a drink, get some food, mingle around, talk to some other people, sign a pledge card. So yeah, let's go ahead and start forming on the right-hand side here. If you want to get a picture of Tulsi. Thanks.
I'm going to go this way. Mama, I know I said I was going to get a picture with Tulsi, but I'm not going to get my first picture with Tulsi without you. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to let all these Tulsi fans get in here. So, y'all, my back is hurting so bad right now. So that was intense. You know, and by intense, I mean paint dry intense. Let me get out of here. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Excuse me. Okay, so now that I'm out here where I can breathe, hold on, let me get the kinks out. Is Yang speaking? No. This is a Tulsi Gabbard event. So listen, Yang, thank you so much for being here on this live stream. I tried to make it a little bit entertaining. I didn't want to be too disruptive or disrespectful, because I would never bring any bad light to Andrew Yang, for sure. I did slip an Amazon in there though, if y'all heard it. So, anyway, we love you, Yang Gang. Like, share, subscribe. Donate if you can. I'm gonna get off of here. Yes, the energy was so low. So we're gonna listen. I guess we'll do a recap real quick. Y'all, I just want to sit down, man. My back is killing me. Standing up on them, it's not killing me literally, but it's hurting pretty bad. It was definitely, look, you can definitely tell our fans are Yang Gang because this is not getting near the reception that our Andrew Yang videos are getting. But it's cool, man. And we didn't, we knew that was going to be the case. We knew that, our fans love Andrew and everything. But we wanted to give you a look behind the scenes. And there you have it. So now I've got 60, 70 miles to go before I get home. So we love you, Yang Gang. I'm hungry. See you on the next one. Oh, wait, yeah, I was yanging people too. And I'm going to yang some people before I get out of here. Maybe.